Hello Twin Flames, this is Victoria and I'm here with your daily energy check. As promised, today I'm going to be doing a Divine Masculine check-in. So I've got quite a few decks here. We're going to start with an Oracle deck, and it's the Wisdom of the Oracle today, the classic. Then I'm going to go with the movie tarot for the main read, and we'll clarify with the after tarot. And I'll post some messages from an Oracle deck, messages from Divine Masculines to Feminines. Actually, I'm gonna pull an oracle card for each of the twins, as I normally do for Divine Feminines, Cross Watchers. We'll get you a little guidance, and then we'll do a deeper dive into what's going on in the Divine Masculine world. Okay, let's get started. I hope you guys are doing great. Hope you're having a nice weekend. For us, it's a long weekend here in the States, but unfortunately, the weather hasn't been, the weather forecast hasn't been amazing. So my default plan would be to lay by the pool and get some sun, have a swim, but it doesn't seem like it's in the cards. Wink, wink. So I'm going to the botanical garden instead today, which is beautiful. And yeah, I'll probably do some work on my website. Maybe I will write something to the blog, and yeah, hopefully I'll start posting the podcasts over the weekend. Let's get the card for the Divine Feminine first of all. Okay, that's not what I was looking for. Let's try again. And then tomorrow we'll do the relationship spread. We'll focus on the connection. All right, the higher power, number 4. Oh, I will read it from the book, but I'm getting a very strong message that there is like it's like the higher power is on your speed dial right now, something like that you can easily connect to them. Oop. There you go. Conscious contact with a higher power, the presence of the divine, seeing source energy in all things, committing to a partnership with spirit. This card reminds you that you're more than a person trying to get ahead and make things happen for yourself and others. You have an immortal soul and are gifted with a human life through which a higher power can express itself. At this time, you need to be conscious of your connection to spirit and foster it through prayer and meditation. Ask, what is the highest good for all? How can I serve? Then get out of your own way and trust that there is a plan for your life more wondrous than you can ever know. You're always protected and divinely directed. I love this message so much. Beautiful message. Of course, I take it for myself as well. I claim it because I am a Divine Feminine. Watching this, listening to this message. Okay, let's see what we have for Divine Masculine. Ew. Yeah, no, I'm looking just 1 or 2 cards, please. Maybe I need to take a deep breath. See what we get here. The Fates. Nice. Number 17. To me, it looks like a guardian angel of the Divine Masculine, and also 17 is the star card, and it has a lot of stars here. Fate, karma, accepting there are things you cannot change and knowing what those things are. It's almost like a serenity prayer. The serenity prayer, yeah, I didn't see that, I promise you. The serenity prayer sums up the meaning of this card. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. There are things in life you will never have control over. The conditions brought on by the evolution of the collective, by nature, and by past experiences may be fated, preordained by spirit for a greater purpose you cannot understand in this lifetime. It may not be in your cards to understand why certain events occurred, but you can accept the mystery and work with what those events and your current circumstances have to teach you. This is the wisdom contained in the Serenity Prayer. Yes, and I talk about it a lot, that, there is a lesson there, that everything that happens to us, especially since we're talking, amongst us, twin flames, right? Everything and anything, because we have this special, and I'm not just talking about twin flames, let's just say light workers, right? We have a lot to accomplish in this lifetime, like without the pressure, but just because we're so powerful and we have accepted our missions, which are also very special, and they go far beyond our own destiny and just enjoying the experience, which is part of it, of course, because it's so special that you cannot find it anywhere else, by far. But we do have our missions that we're supposed to accomplish. And remind you that you still need to remember what they are, right? Because as soon as you get reincarnated, you don't really remember. You have to remember it with time, right? Both who you are and what the mission is for you. And that's why, imagine what kind of work it is for your higher power, for your guides, to guide you to that direction, for both of these things to be progressing and happening, for you to be happy and also accomplish all of these different things. Hence, they can work their way through downloads, right? Like telepathic communication, signs that you will understand, and playing out different events for your life that will help you learn the lessons you need to learn, to remember, and to gain the mastery to do the mission you're here to do. So whatever happens to you, it definitely is not a coincidence, especially if it's something big, right? But even in small events and seemingly mediocre events, a lot of times there is a lesson, or at least there is a little test of how you're going to deal with it this time. I have my friends visit last week. I told you about it. They visited for a few days. And for me, since I'm used to living by myself and having my space to myself, right? It's a big change when I have 3 other people staying with me. One of them is an 8-year-old girl. And the last time they came, a few years ago, it was so difficult for me. I had so much anxiety in my body. It was really stressful. And not that I wasn't happy to see them. They are my friends and I truly love them. They're great. But they still triggered a lot of stuff in me that I wasn't comfortable with. That was hard for me to handle. And this time around, maybe especially because it was the same group of people, some of those things came up again because, they've changed, but they're still the same people. They have their opinions, they have their lifestyle, etc., etc. They have their egos. But I could notice, and it was huge to me, of how much different my reaction was to it, how I was handling those situations. And it wouldn't be truthful to say that I didn't have any anxiety or stress or frustration at all. No, I did. But it was such a different experience from what it was like 4 years ago. Before I opened up to my twin flame journey and started, working more consciously as a light worker and doing a lot of inner child work and chakra cleansing work and other stuff on myself. And that's why I feel like, and I had, of course, some people to kind of guide me and help me out. And that's why I'm offering my coaching sessions to kind of share and help you out, at least with give you certain pointers of what has helped me big time, so that those things do not bother me anymore. I also became a lot more patient with kids, and again, kids are great, of course, but you know what I mean, right? Especially those who are relentless and have lots of energy. And this girl is like that. She's one of those that will not leave you alone. Always something going on. And I'm an introvert. So for me, it's not really something that I enjoy 24/7. And the kid is there 24/7, right? So you can't really escape it that much. But guess what? It's so much easier now. I'm dealing with it a lot better. So I don't have to lose my patience or, you know, get anxious, because of course it then reflects on the kid. And I don't want that for my kids when I have them. And I understood that long before that was one of my issues. So that came from my own history, my own traumas. So I'm just so like, this was a marker for me of how far I've come in the last couple of years. And I'm so happy. I'm actually proud of myself for that. So like these events that happened, they may have been insignificant on their own, especially each of them individually. But they definitely showed me through those few days how far I've come and how much more I can do now and how much more inner peace and, you know, I have, and how much I have my center figured out physically, spiritually, on all levels. That's why biomechanics is another big thing. I'm not offering anything yet for it, but I will. For, you know, for fitness and for dancing, even if it's a very like amateur, like dancing for yourself, it's still, I'm gonna be preparing some materials on how much it's changing your mindset and worldview, and how can you cope with whatever life is throwing at you, right? Because historically we have our bodies for that, as any animals, right? For them it's more intuitive, it's more instinctive. For us, because we have consciousness, because we have all of our feelings and emotions, it becomes a lot more complex. And it's a good thing and a bad thing at the same time. It just becomes more complex for us to be using our bodies efficiently for day-to-day life. Okay, sorry about the long intro, but yeah, let's see what we have for DMs. So what I'm gonna do in terms of the questions and the structure of this reading, so I'm gonna be asking questions on what is happening in the energy of divine masculines right now, what kind of lessons are they learning, you know, what's going on there. Then I'm gonna see what is on their conscious mind, and then we'll see what kind of actions they're taking. Yes, let's go with those three. If we have time, I'll ask additional questions. So what's happening energetically for Divine Masculine Collective at the moment? Woo! The Fool. The Tom Hanks from the Forrest Gump. Okay, that's actually pretty cool. What is happening on their conscious mind? What are they thinking? Knight of Swords. I'm trying to think now how I came up with my speech, but yeah, it was connected with the acceptance and recognizing that everything that happens to us happens for a reason, is divinely guided, divinely orchestrated. Yeah, big time. I'm wondering what movie this is, I'm not sure. Something gothic. What kind of actions are they taking? The Hermit. Looks like Meryl Streep, actually, the younger version of her. And Page of Wands, Will Smith in Men in Black. A lot of figures here, a lot of people. So yeah, it's interesting. Okay, let's leave it here for now. Let me pull some clarifiers. And also, if you remember, with this deck, we have some fun entries in the book about the, especially about the major arcanas, but I also want to check who is this Knight of Swords. It's interesting. Let's clarify the Fool. Sorry, guys. Justice in reverse. Please clarify Knight of Swords for the conscious space. Looks a bit kind of defensive. I don't know. Queen of Pentacles here. Please clarify the Hermit and Page of Wands. Ace of Cups, nice. Two of Cups, bottom of the deck. I love this card in this deck. It's so pretty, so nice, so cute. Anyways, we'll start with the Fool, clarified by Justice Universe. And I'm not gonna read the Fool because I think we just had it in the last reading as well. And like I said, it's Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump. So it's the part where he was running. Yeah, long term, let's say. So what I'm getting is the divine masculine's worlds have been rocked recently, like completely. And with the Justice Universe, I'm seeing that the reason they started a new road, a new journey, started anew, i.e. in a new energy, unusual for them, right? So this is like, they're still just getting started. But it happened because there was so much chaos and stress in their world and imbalance that they just, like, it almost like exploded. That energy that they were suppressing in them that was causing the imbalance, it just exploded and it got released. Maybe not in the most comfortable way, but it did. And hence divine masculines were able to kind of have this transformation happen to them, energy, to their vibration, and they were able to get into the new level with this Fool card to start anew. It's still, like I was saying, it's still they still haven't figured it out. They don't really know what this road is, like where is it going. It's like you wake up one day and you're already walking along a certain road. You have no idea where it's taking you. Like, I don't even recognize this landscape. How did I get here? It's kind of like that, but it feels good. Like the feeling is good, and that's something, right? For the conscious mind, we have Knight of Swords and Queen of Pentacles. Let me just quickly check who is the Knight of Swords guy. Have aces, the suits, swords. Okay, the courts. Knights. It says it's Numi Rappers in Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. It's the Swedish version. Still don't know what it is, so yeah, we'll just have to go with what I'm feeling, what I'm sensing here as a reader. So, like I was saying, to me, this card in this deck is pretty defensive. It's kind of like, okay, it's like it's someone who has a truth of like a sort of truth with them, right? Because it's a Knight of Swords. But they feel like an outsider in this world. It's like they suddenly understand how the world works. What does success mean? Why do some people earn their money easily and others struggling through the years? Why they have struggled, right? But they understand that people around them are not ready to hear that. So they kind of become defensive because they don't want to take anybody's BS anymore. And they're like, well, I kind of get how it works now. And what you are doing is, it just, yeah, it's a sad story. Or like, I know that it's not gonna, or I don't want to be part of that, right? But they still feel like it's them against the world right now because people like in their immediate surrounding do not get it. And they aren't even sure how to explain it yet. That's why they're kind of like staying, and you see even with his hair, like with like the whole body language, it's like very much keeping it inside right now. It's like still need to mold it over in my head before I'm ready to present it somehow to the world. Or I know what to do with this knowledge, right? How to apply it to my own life. And lastly, for the actions, we have the Hermit. Let's read it. Meryl Streep is Karen Blixen in Out of Africa. Life lesson is withdrawal, especially of spiritual reflection, can be the better way forward. Yeah. And it's actually, it makes total sense with what we just saw with the energy and with the conscious mind. It kind of naturally pushes divine masculine into this hermit mode to reflect and to be by themselves. It's also a sign of ascension, because when your energy changes, the vibration, the frequency, then of course people who you used to attract, they are now on a different vibration, and immediately it feels uncomfortable. Like, even if you don't think about it, if you don't understand it, it still will feel uncomfortable. You'll want to naturally, like your body, your instincts, they will drive you away from this kind of people. Okay, so the Hermit temporarily lets go of everyday material concerns and seeks higher guidance. Allow the light within you to glow powerfully and trust in your innermost truth. Karen Blixen reflects on her lover's desire to live in the moment. Perhaps he knew, as I did not, that the earth was made round so that we would not see too far down the road. And sometimes it's also part of divine's plan that we don't see too far down the road. But with Ace of Cups actually clarifies both of them. This is like that part of acceptance that everything that's happening with you is happening out of divine love and affection and wanting to help. The same goes for your ancestors, for your soul family, for your guides who have a lot of love for you, divine masculines, and they want to guide you, they want to help you out. Page of Wands, it wouldn't have a story here, and I know that this is Will Smith from Men in Black, but to me this adds like an extra vibe of like still trying to keep that cool and kind of look, because this is the action that they're taking, right? So they are finding space for themselves to reflect, but at the same time still keeping it cool on the outside, right? Like trying to look like nothing is happening because they're not ready to share yet, right? As soon as they will start acting differently, people will start asking questions, and they're not ready to have that conversation yet. So on the outside, they're just trying to keep it cool. It looks a little bit weird, a little bit funny, and for you divine feminines watching, it could be even more hilarious. Right? And it's like I'm really drawn to this, like the whole image of like trying to keep it extra cool, like, yeah, I'm a cool guy, right? But you actually can sense what's going on, that this is a mask, that this is just a shell. But it's adorable, come on. And again, it's like they don't have any malicious intent here, they don't have any hidden agenda. It's just them trying to cope with this new energy that they're in. And divine masculine, show yourself some love in this situation. It's not like there's nothing wrong with you, and you don't owe other people anything. Like you don't owe them an explanation. You don't have to explain yourself about everything that's going on within you. It's your world, it's your space. So yeah, if you need to take this time to kind of win some time for yourself to figure things out, please do, and show yourself some love and compassion as you would do to other people. It's very important. Okay, some messages from divine masculines to divine feminines. And as I'm doing this, I do have additional question in my mind, so I will ask that as well. It's like a bonus question, the postscriptum. Any more messages for divine feminines and what's going on with DMs right now? What would they like to share? Okay. We have, I'm so sorry I hurt you. Please forgive me. Then we have, I fear you will reject the real me. And I made the wrong choice. Yeah, and I get that this is actually this energy of Knight of Swords, where I was gonna say it and I'm being guided to say it now. It's like part of this new energy in their conscious mind, and this sword energy, the truth energy, is that they are realizing what they have done wrong before. It's part of why they're defensive, and they're like, you know, in that, like, they're not comfortable right now, because it's like a lot of things that they've done that were ego driven, that were done in fear, are starting to come up now. They realize what happened, or what their reaction was. And that's why there is a lot of this like regret, right? And fear, actually. I fear you will reject the real me. So it's almost like they're in that space where they're thinking they're worse than what they are, right? Like they're blaming themselves for a lot of things and thinking that they're not worthy. It's gonna pass. It's a passing energy, but you know, Divine Feminine's watching, you can probably relate, because every once in a while we have that as well. It's part of how our psyche works, actually. That's how fear and shame works. But it's very important to go through these feelings like a jellyfish, kind of like swim through it and be able to transmute it and release, so you don't drag it with you. Okay, additional question that I have is, what is this new cycle about? What's the goal of this new cycle for Divine Masculines? What is the next milestone on the journey for this Divine Masculine collective? What's the reason for this new energy to come up? Ooh, that's intense. Okay, let me... Come on, Divine Masculines. Okay. We have Seven of Cups and the Lovers. Ooh, that's nice. Actually, let me read the Lovers. This is Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal as Ennis Del Mar and Jack Twist in Brokeback Mountain. The life lesson is, only we can make the right choices for ourselves, but we must live with the consequence. Only we can make the right choices for ourselves, but we must live with the consequence. And that's what I was just talking about, you know, because the M's have made some decisions, but then now they have to face the music, face the consequences. The Lovers navigate between head and heart, feeling the pull of temptations and attractions. True love promises lasting fulfillment. False love makes you its slave. If we stray or falter, wise action may redeem us. Yeah, and we have Seven of Cups here, which is also about a lot of different options. It's like, I'm getting in this case that it's like a multiple choice of what you can do in every particular situation. And it's up to the masculine to discern what is going to be the choice of love. True love. Not the love, the Instagram love. Not something that will look good on the paper. Not something that will make the other person happy, right? But what is essentially a loving choice. And what is going on, like this new energy is gonna bring a lot more clarity to that, so it doesn't feel like it's just overwhelming with like, I have no idea what I'm doing here or what is the next step, right? We'll bring in a lot more clarity for cases like that, whether it's concerning the masculines themselves, just them, or it has to do with other people, including Divine Feminines. Okay, I hope this has been good for you guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love you all, and I'll be back with more readings very, very soon.